Hello, welcome back to another Marvel Snap video on a fresh account. Today we're going to be unlocking our first set of mystery cards from Pool 1 and we're going to build a deck out of what we find. I'm pretty excited to start opening these. We have about 12 saved up right now, so let's get to opening. The first mystery card is Elektra, who has the on reveal, destroy a random enemy 1-cost card at this location. This is pretty useful in the early game because we'll be able to take out problematic 1-drops like Nightcrawler or Ant-Man, who can potentially get a lot of value. Next up is Cable. On reveal, put the bottom card of your opponent's deck into your hand. Not only does this give you some insight into what your opponent is playing, it gives you a card that you now know they no longer have access to. So this is a fantastic card at 2 cost. Next up is Swordmaster. On reveal, discard a card from your hand. At 6 power for 3 energy, this card is very efficient, and if we can pick up a few of the other discard synergies, we can make Swordmaster's downside actually a benefit. Speaking of which, now we have Wolverine. When this is discarded or destroyed, play it at a random location. So this is a good card to synergize with our Swordmaster, as we can get it into play for free and not actually go down 1 card. We pick up Forge. On reveal, give the next card you play +2 power. Not the most impactful card, but there's a few cards that benefit from them specifically having a higher power, so we'll keep an eye out if we can do anything with that. We have the Lizard. Ongoing, -3 power if your opponent has 4 cards here. The 5 power for 2 energy is really nice, but if they fill out the location, then it's a 2/3, or a 2/2, sorry, which is pretty underwhelming. So we might not use this, although being ongoing, it does synergize with Spectrum. Oh, Devil Dinosaur. Ongoing, +2 power for each card in your hand. This might be one of the strongest Pool 1 cards, and you can make this very large, so this will probably be what we start with. We'll see what else we pick up here. We've got a couple more to go. Onslaught. Ongoing, double your other ongoing effects at this location. This is really powerful with a couple of the cards in Pool 1, and it actually synergizes well with the Devil Dino if you want to make one particular location very large, but that might be overkill. You could also combine this with Khazar to give a lot of power to your 1-cost cards, and Blue Marvel to just buff up your whole team by an additional +1. The White Queen. On reveal, draw a copy of the highest card in your opponent's hand. Not only is this typically a high impact card, it tells you something about the opponent's hand, so this gains a lot of information. And it synergizes with the Devil Dino we just picked up, because it puts a card back in your hand after you play this, maintaining a large hand size. We pick up Yondu. On reveal, remove the top card of your opponent's deck. This card can be very disruptive, and it might take out a key power piece of your opponent's deck, so it makes it a decent 1-cost card. Pick up Rocket Raccoon, another 1-cost card. It has the Guardians of the Galaxy effect, where if your opponent played a card here this turn, it gets additional power, and this gets +2, so 4 power for 1 energy is pretty good, on par with Ant-Man, but a little more of a risk. And the last of the mystery cards we're going to open today is Blade. On reveal, discard a card from your hand. This synergizes with the Wolverine and the Swordmaster we've already picked up, and will probably be something we explore in the future. For now, let's get to building. So here's what we came up with. We did actually have a cool deck we could build with the Onslaught, but due to the hot location being Kamartaj, I wanted to take advantage of that with this deck. For those that don't know, the hot location will appear in 60% of your games, so you're very likely to encounter it. And with this location doubling your on-reveal abilities, we want to take advantage of that with Spectrum, and it will actually synergize with our Devil Dinosaur with a few of our other on-reveal abilities. First up, we have Ant-Man, who is just too efficient of a 1-cost card not to play with our limited collection. Then we have Cable. On reveal, put the bottom card of your opponent's deck into your hand. This is fantastic as it replaces itself, and it gives you some insight into potentially what your opponent is playing and a card you now know they no longer have access to. Then we have Colossus, an ongoing card to benefit from the spectrum, and can just be useful to get into particular locations that are hard to play into, like Death's Domain. Then we have Sentinel. On reveal, add another Sentinel to your hand. This also replaces itself and maintains a good hand size for our Devil Dinosaur. Then we have the Lizard. 5 power for 2 energy is pretty strong, and even though it could potentially lose -3, it can obtain the Spectrum buff because it is an ongoing card. Then we have Mr. Fantastic. Just a great ongoing card, spreads some power and can benefit from Spectrum. Same with the Punisher, 3 cost, ongoing, gets +1 for each of your opposing cards at that location, so it can get pretty decently sized. Then we have Jessica Jones, just a great 4-drop, going up to a potential 8 power, or with our hot location, 12 power. Following that is the White Queen, 4 energy, 6 power. On reveal, draw a copy of the highest card in your opponent's hand. This is fantastic because it gives you insight as to what's directly in their hand and can usually get you a high impact card. Then we have Iron Man, too good of an ongoing card not to play when we're also playing Spectrum. This will help us win the lane that Devil Dinosaur is not in. Then we have the featured card, Devil Dinosaur. 5 energy, 3 power, ongoing, +2 power for each card in your hand. If you have a 5-card hand, this gets up to 13, which outsizes the Hulk, which is fantastic, and can even get buffed up by the Spectrum. And lastly, Spectrum. With the hot location right now, we have the potential to trigger this on reveal twice, which will add quite a lot of power to our board and win some games by surprise. With that, let's hop into some games. First up is Nordley. And the hot location is the first one revealed. We're going to have Spectrum to play there, so let's make sure that we spread some power over to the other locations. Ooh, there, Yondu's going to destroy 2 of our cards, Cable and Colossus. That actually gets us closer to our Devil Dinosaur and may have actually helped us. We do draw Ant-Man. Let's play it into Stark Tower to make sure we get as much of the buff here as possible. They follow that up with a Cable, taking 2 more of our cards. We now actually only have 3 cards left in deck and won't draw a card on the last turn. Let's go with the Mr. Fantastic to spread some power around. They won't gain a lot of benefit from Odin here, so there's a good chance that we'll get more benefit out of Kamartaj than they will. They have a large hand, so their Devil Dinosaur, if they took it from us, is going to be very large. Let's go with the double Jessica Jones. They play a Lizard. We're gonna go with the Iron Man. Oh, so they play the White Tiger. So we're definitely not winning the right-hand side here.
All systems go.
And I don't think the extra Tigers are going to be enough after the double Spectrum buff. Because we're going to add 12 power to Stark Tower, and that's going to get doubled. So we're going to go ahead and snap and play the Spectrum. Even if 2 Tigers hit Stark Tower, that's not going to be enough to win. This should be pretty safe. They snap back, meaning they probably have the Odin. Or our Devil Dinosaur, but that still won't be enough. They snapped and then are taking quite a lot of time to decide on their final play. Maybe they're not as confident as they seemed, potentially hoping we would retreat when they snap. Here goes Spectrum. It's going to buff up Stark Tower quite a lot. And the double Spider Woman is not enough to win Rampage, so we take 8 cubes from that one.
Victory.
The double Spectrum buff with Iron Man was just too strong, despite them stealing almost our entire deck with the Yondu and the Cable. Let's hop into another one. Next up, Sir Evan. And Kamartaj is the first location revealed again. So we might be able to do what our opponent did to us last time and double Cable. They play a Quicksilver. Maybe they're playing a Khazar deck. The Baxter building is going to make us potentially want to win the middle location. But for now, let's take 2 of their cards and see what they're up to. They play Medusa, gaining 2 additional power for the center location. So they are playing Khazar, but now we have stolen it. So let's go with the Mr. Fantastic. We'll spread some power into these other lanes. We can go with the double Jessica Jones into Kamartaj, and maybe we draw into our Devil Dinosaur to win the Baxter building for us. So they play a Sentinel. Our hand is definitely a lot larger than theirs, so if we do find our Devil Dinosaur, ours will be a lot bigger. The additional +4 off Jessica Jones from Kamartaj, bringing her up to 12, is going to be a pretty strong play on that lane. They follow that up with another Sentinel, possibly scared that we would commit a card to Hala and destroy theirs. Oh, and we do draw the Devil Dinosaur. So we'll drop that into Baxter building. We have 6 cards in hand, so it's actually going to be a 15 power Devil Dino. And then we can drop Spectrum on the final turn to buff up that lane even further. So they actually think they have us beat right now. So I think it's worth snapping. We might be able to sneak 8 cubes out of this game. Hopefully they don't retreat. Let's go with the Spectrum. They're not going to be able to beat our power with Kamartaj, and with +8 to Baxter building, this should be an easy win. They're deciding long and hard. Actually, they might retreat, because we could just play any card here now that Baxter building is full on their side. No, they stick it out. Oh, Gamora gets us. Actually, it ties. And that's enough.
Victory.
So it tied before the Spectrum's 5 was added, so we actually win the 2 locations. Excellent. Devil Dino here being 19 power, just showing what a beast it is. Let's hop into another one. So after 2 8-cube games in a row, we did drop a game to an opponent who filled up the raft before us and was able to drop an Ultron on the final turn for 0 energy. So let's see if we can recover from that. Mojo World wants us to play a bunch of cards to it, so we'll lead with the Ant-Man and intend on filling up that lane. Unfortunately, it's a predictable play, and they get the Rocket Raccoon buff. But we will match that power with Ant-Man once we fill up this location. Next, let's go with the Colossus. Just try and curve out here. Hopefully we pick up the Devil Dino to win the lane that we don't end up filling out. And there's the Devil Dinosaur. So we can play the Mr. Fantastic into the White Queen and probably the Iron Man. That might be overkill, because our Devil Dino is only going to be 7 power. We'll actually play Mr. Fantastic to Mojo World. It's not too much power into Los Diablos. So we'll plan on playing White Queen to center here. Ooh, now it's no longer Mojo World, so it's less important we fill up that lane. Although we still will want to get the buff for our Ant-Man. Let's go with the White Queen and see what they could drop on us on the final turn. They go with an Angela, and looking at the other cards they played, looks like they're doing something low to the ground. They have an Odin, but not really many on reveal effects on the board right now. We go with the Iron Man into Devil Dinosaur next turn. Devil Dinosaur will be 11, White Queen will be 6, and we're getting 2 from the Mr. Fantastic, so that should beat their Angela. They play a White Tiger, which is a pretty low power investment here.
I am Iron Man. All systems go.
And that puts us up to 18. So now we know they can Odin this lane, which will be 10 additional power. So Spectrum won't be quite enough. We have to hope that the White Tiger goes over to Stark Tower. Oh, actually, we probably should have just played the Devil Dino to Stark Tower and spread our power out. But we're anticipating the Odin to the center lane.
Opponent snapped.
Are they snapping on the 50-50? I suppose if they just play Odin here, and the 50-50 does not pay off for them, and we take 4 cubes.
Victory.
The Devil Dinosaur was just such a big body for 5 energy. So I did actually want to review the last game's end state, because we made a big misplay. By committing Iron Man to the Ruins location, we gave our opponent a number to beat. Had they actually played their Odin to the Ruins, they could have won this game. But they played Odin to the center lane and gambled on the 50-50. We probably could have led with the Devil Dino in the center lane and guaranteed our opponent made the play that they did, rather than actually giving them the opportunity to capitalize on our mistake. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for that in the future. I just wanted to reflect back on this game, learn from our mistakes, so we can continue to get even better. So that was the deck in action. I hope you enjoyed the games and maybe learned a little. This deck definitely has improvements that can be made as we unlock more of the Pool 1 cards. There's a card, Moon Girl, that actually duplicates your hand and can be a big power push for the Devil Dino, possibly even duplicating the Devil Dino. So if you have that card in your collection, I strongly recommend you give it a try. If you have any comments or questions about the deck or the games, feel free to leave those in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and keep on snapping.